Here is the riskiest idea I've come up with for getting some positive change in the United States. It involves the CRT nonsense that we've had Republicans whining about for months and months and months. The worst among us are trying to make sure we forget the history made by the previous worst among us. Here is MSNBC talking about it.
After January 6th, an incredibly poignant and powerful moment, 22-year-old Amanda Gorman stood up at President Biden's inauguration and read one of her poems.
We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens, but one thing is certain. If we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright.
That poem, The Hill We Climb, is now banned for elementary classes at a school in Miami-Dade after one parent, just a single parent, complained the poem was not educational and had, I quote directly, indirectly hate messages. That his purpose was to cause confusion and indoctrinate students. That one complaint was enough for the school to ban elementary school kids from reading that poem by the first ever National Youth Poet Laureate and the youngest ever inaugural poet. And that was made possible by one man and his, facilitators in the legislature, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Tonight, Amanda Gorman has responded to the ban saying, quote, "I am gutted. I wrote The Hill We Climb so that all young people could see themselves in a historical moment. Robbing children of the chance to find their voices in literature is a violation of their right to free thought and free speech." She also urged people to speak out, pointing to a lawsuit her publisher has joined along with PEN America and others against another Florida school district in Escambia County that has banned books. I'm joined now by Suzanne Nocell, who's the CEO of PEN America, and Lindsay Durchie, who has two children in that district and is also a plaintiff in the suit. It's good to have you both here. Let me start with you, Suzanne, just in terms of level setting on these book bans and why they're happening in Florida. There's a little bit of a ambiguity here, right? They pass a law that essentially routinizes parental complaints as a means of getting books removed, but then the state doesn't have to sort of take credit for it happening? How does it actually happen, and what's the contestation of your lawsuit?
Sure. Look, there are two.
Wait a minute. Did he say routinize? Who on earth knows what that means? Does she know what that means? Nobody knows what that means. He made that word up. Good Lord. Or if he didn't, I refuse to believe otherwise.
Laws in Florida, what we call the Don't Say Gay law, the law that prohibits discussion of LGBTQ topics in schools, and then a law that does similarly when it comes to discussions about race that are contentious, that could make somebody feel perhaps guilty about their race. And what those two laws have done is create an enabling environment for book banning. And in many districts, as you say, it takes only a single individual, does not necessarily even have to be a parent, to lodge an objection. I mean, that objection to Amanda Gorman's book is illustrative. It's a few.
Okay. Polls going up right now. Here's the plan. What if, now hear me out, what if we just start calling in to these schools like crazy, every anti-CRT wackadoo school district, we start calling in and getting every single book pulled off the shelves, all books, especially about white protagonists. If there is a single white protagonist in the book, we find a reason, just like they find a reason to take offense at a gay person existing, we find a reason to take advantage of it and take offense and say that it makes my race feel bad. It makes me uncomfortable. It makes me feel like whatever CRT nonsense they're whining about, we use that language to force these school districts to remove all books. Here's why I'm not sure it's a good idea. Children are being used as pawns at this point. But I guess I'm thinking of this as in, like, are we in a situation where it's better for the body to cut off the arm because it's infected? It sucks to be considering this, but man, as Amanda Gorman said, when we combine right with might, when we are righteous, should we not use that? Should we not play hardball, I guess? That's the plan. I'm going to go into it more in a moment, but let me know if you think it's too destructive to suggest doing to the Wicked House, who will be the people that watch this later. You and the Wicked Senate, let me know.
Lines just scribbled out. The person clearly hasn't read the poem. They don't give any detail. And that is enough to get a book pulled from the shelves for a review process that can go on for months and months, denying kids the book. In Escambia, it's particularly egregious because there is a review panel of educators and librarians who...
Any book that speaks positively about Ronald Reagan. Let's start there. Literally any book about Ronald. We could. In fact, yeah, let's just take any books. I'm not sure if it would be, yeah. I was gonna say let's take any books that we disagree with, but no, let's just take the books, focus on the books that will be the most shocking. So first of all, anything that mentions the Bible as a you get what they're saying. It's CRT bans, right? It's Florida, it's crazy, yada, yada, yada. Let's talk about this. What if we just take any book at all that is going to shock people? So you take, for example, any book that has a protagonist that uses religion as a guiding light. Yeah. We say Christians are always trying to make me feel bad about who I am. And this book shows somebody who does that according to their religion, or at least my intentionally skewed understanding of their religion. So it's trying to make me feel bad about who I am. That's against the law. Out. Get it out. Leave them with nothing but guides for assembling desks and office chairs left in the classroom. Unless, of course, the little IKEA cartoon character on it is present, because obviously that's a white person, and they're trying to make me feel bad about who I am by showing somebody who's not me. That's the general idea. Make their unfair laws are all based on, they're all designed to try to give them the excuse of being able to say, no, these are for everybody. These aren't just for white supremacy. Followed by behavior that is absolutely white supremacist. They're all based on the idea that we're going to keep acting like decent human beings, and only they will use these laws to F with them. But remember the Black Panthers. These fellas managed to get strong gun control laws put in place in California. I don't think that's what they were trying to do. But how did they do it? By just playing along with the insane gun laws that were there at the time. Those were meant to keep untrained white people armed to the teeth. But it scared these cowards so much to see black people with guns that they reversed course immediately. What do you guys think? Let's call in to Florida school districts all the time. As they said, you don't even have to be from there. And say, kids shouldn't be learning this. I want this book pulled. If you're in Florida, you've got a great opportunity here. Just get a big list together and start complaining. Worst case scenario, you will make them have to get trickier and trickier reasoning. They're going to have to start doing things like grandfather clausing in books. You're just going to make their lives harder. It's a bad law, and we should expose that. Let's see what the Wicked community has to say.